welcome to this explainer. Right now, I want you to just take a second and imagine the exact moment the universe ends. The stars burn out, the planets just halt, and everything we know literally ceases to exist. Most of us probably imagine this as some sudden, chaotic flash, right? But actually, there's this unseen timeline to the ultimate reality that is way more structured, profound, and honestly, a lot more terrifying than you could ever imagine.
So what actually happens the exact second the universe ends? Well, let's dive right into it. Because contrary to what you might expect, the end of the universe isn't just followed by this immediate chaos. No, it's followed by a truly unexplainable era of absolute, deafening silence. It's not just an instant flash from our physical world straight into ultimate judgment.
Part 1. The Cosmic Reset, Silence, and Rebirth.
Okay, so after the first blast completely wipes out the cosmos, there's this massive gap. Exactly 40 periods pass. Now, are these 40 days, 40 months, or 40 years? Well, that remains an unseen reality. But the point is, during this massive block of time, absolutely no physical creation exists anywhere. The stars are completely dead, the angels are gone, and there is literally just heavy, absolute cosmic silence. The whole universe basically has to be completely emptied out before accountability can even begin, which then eventually leads to the second blast that triggers the resurrection.
And this brings us to something fascinating, the al-Qiyamah. This is the microscopic tip of the human tailbone. Tradition tells us that every single part of the human body will eventually just rot away into dust, except for this one tiny, virtually invisible remnant. It acts as the exact blueprint, kind of like a master code, that the Creator uses to reconstruct the entire human body entirely from scratch.
So you're probably wondering, how does that rebirth actually happen? Well, when those 40 periods of cosmic silence finally wrap up, this unique, incredibly thick celestial rain comes down for 40 days straight. This dense moisture saturates the earth until it reaches down and hits that microscopic al-Qiyamah. And once saturated, humanity actually physically grows upwards. We literally sprout directly out of the soil, almost exactly like plants responding to spring rain. You literally grow back into existence. It's wild to think about.
Moving on to Part 2, the new reality, total exposure.
So as humanity regains consciousness and you open your eyes for the very first time, the first sight is absolutely shocking. Prophet Musa is already standing there, firmly gripping one of the massive pillars of the throne of the Creator. It's a completely mind-bending encounter. You have to wonder, was he exempted from the initial terror of falling unconscious because of that profound earthly encounter he had with the divine majesty on the mountain? Whatever the reason, witnessing this incredible sight is literally the very first thing billions of people will experience.
But then you look away from the throne, and you realize the earth itself has undergone a horrifying physical transformation. You're definitely not waking up in your hometown. The earth is now this completely sterile, flat, silver-white plain. It's described as being completely smooth like a loaf of pure white bread. I mean, think about that. There are no mountains to hide behind, no valleys to escape into, no trees for shade, literally zero landmarks. It is a completely sterile, inescapable stage designed for one thing: absolute accountability.
Part 3, the weight of sins, drowning and trampling.
Now, standing on this utterly flat plain, the terror really multiplies. The climate shifts into this impossible, suffocating heat, and the physical forms of humanity actually begin to warp to match their past earthly deeds. The sun is pulled down from the heavens until it hangs just one meal above the heads of humanity. Now, a meal usually means a mile, which is already terrifying, right? But meal is also the exact same word used for the tiny, thin glass rod used to apply eyeliner, meaning the sun could literally be hovering close enough to touch. It creates a sweltering environment that completely shatters the laws of nature.
And the consequence of that heat is just unimaginable. With absolutely no clouds or shade anywhere, the massive crowds of billions will start sweating so heavily that they literally begin drowning in it. But here's the catch. The sweat doesn't just pool on the ground. It rises up your own body like water filling a tank. And it's based strictly on the severity of your earthly sins. So it stops at the ankles for some, rises up to the knees for others, and for some, it rises all the way up to literally choke them right at their mouths.
Meanwhile, as you're looking through this massive choking crowd, you start to notice people whose bodies have physically morphed. Those who live their earthly lives with great arrogance and pride are humiliatingly transformed into helpless, tiny ants, but terrifyingly, they still retain their distinct human faces. And they're just continually trampled underfoot into the silver dirt by the massive, panicked crowds above them. It's this striking, very literal reflection of exactly how small and insignificant they made other people feel in life.
Part 4. The Scales and the Screen. Cosmic Justice. So, from those chaotic, trampling masses, we transition to the awe-inspiring public and intensely private scales of ultimate divine accountability. The righteous and the wrongdoers are eventually called forward to the Mizan. These are the ultimate cosmic scales of justice. And here, the sheer volume of a lifetime of actions isn't just reviewed, it is visually quantified right in front of you.
The really crucial point here is the unimaginable balance of these scales. Just imagine a man stepping forward with 99 massive scrolls completely filled with bad deeds, and each scroll stretches out as far as the human eye can see. He looks at this literal mountain of sins and obviously believes he's entirely doomed, but then a single, tiny beta card which contains a sincere testimony of faith is placed on the other side. The spiritual weight of that single card violently snaps the scale down, totally scattering his massive transgressions into weightless dust. A tiny piece of paper completely shatters the laws of mathematics. It's incredible.
Yet, for the true believers, that terrifying public trial vanishes entirely. It actually shifts into an intensely private, isolated moment known as al-Najah. Think of this as a private screen of intimate concealment that is placed completely over the individual. It absolutely blocks out all angels, all humans, and all jinn from seeing or hearing a single thing. And inside that heavy, sacred silence behind the screen, the Creator privately reviews their secret sins one by one. The believer acknowledges them, fully expecting total destruction. But instead of punishment, they're enveloped in this breathtaking declaration of pure mercy. I concealed these sins for you in the worldly life, and I forgive them for you today. Just imagine the relief of that moment.
Part 5. Eternity Realized. The Death of Death. Just as everyone's ultimate destinations are finally decided, a shocking physical manifestation takes place right on the borders of the eternal fire, and this is an event that permanently alters the psychology of every soul in existence. A massive announcement forces billions of people, whether they're headed to paradise or the fire, to look forward. The abstract concept of death is suddenly brought forth in a literal, physical form. It actually materializes as a black and white ram, and it's placed directly on the boundary line between the two eternal homes.
Right there, before the eyes of all creation, death itself is slaughtered, and this chilling cry echoes out across those flat silver plains. O people of paradise, eternity and no more death. And O people of hell, eternity and no more death. This instantly seals the absolute psychological reality of forever. It brings ultimate unmatched relief to the righteous while completely breaking the hearts of the wrongdoers, who realize that their reality will never, ever end. As we wrap up this explainer on the ultimate timeline, we leave the slaughtered ram behind. We've journeyed all the way from absolute cosmic silence to the sprouting of humanity to the literal death of death itself. So I want to leave you with this vital question. Knowing the physical reality of eternity will one day be sealed forever, how will these unseen realities shape your visible actions today? What are you going to do with the time you have left before the cosmic silence begins?